that right now we're in a place where both we're in this realm where both can be happening, and now it's for us to have that intention and really work on things and open our hearts, I believe. um, I'm not telling you what you have to believe, I'm just putting out what I feel. But it's not just my feeling, is what I'm saying. It's backed up by a lot of different sciences. It's backed up by certain mythologies from the past. It's like there's just so much that speaks to me at this time of the sacredness of what we're in the middle of, and and a lot of the really, really recent tragic events and deaths that people are mourning. Um, and I feel like there's another side, another dimension to what's going on. Call me crazy, but this is what I'm feeling. And like a friend of mine just died last year, exactly about this time. I don't know the exact day now. J. Bell Redbird, he died in his sleep, and oh boy, the whole levels and layers of that. I found out while I was tattooing someone, and I wasn't gonna tell them what I had found out because I didn't want them to think I was distracted, and I'm very good at holding a space. And then later on, I was just in a kind of a, but I really felt that Jay was such a great soul. Number one, if anyone's seen his paintings, if anyone knows him, he was not your just average bloke. He was a very, very awesome, profound spiritual being, and his paintings are transformational to anyone that gazes upon them as well. And I think that's an aspect of how we connected, was because we both have very similar intentions with our artwork. But when Jay left, I just felt like I felt all the tragedy and the sorrow, and I still feel it whenever I think about it. But I also just had this strong, strong feeling of knowing that Jay was called, his soul, whatever you want to call someone once their body is gone, he was called for something important to do. And now with this happening, I know in my heart that he's, using the Norse mythology terms. It's just remember, it's the map, not the territory. I'm not taking this literally, but in that sense, Jay was summoned, if you want to call it that, to Valhalla to get in preparation. Who knows? Maybe he's doing his healing artwork on all the warriors or something before they get released from the gates. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff that came across as tragedy, and is on a level tragedy, but on another level, I see a picture forming. I see things coming together, even just like how I was working on the polar bear medicine before I knew anything about the lockdown or anyone else knew about it. When things start to happen, Stephen Jenkinson, I did some workshops with him, and he said something really profound that stuck in my mind. He was using the metaphor of a canoe, and paddling on a canoe, and he said, the ripples that go by, you have what he called the wake. You have the ripples that are left behind, and you have ones that precede you. And it was a teaching story to show that what you do right now in this moment, yes, it does have an effect and leaves a trail in the past, but something less known is that it also projects into your future and affects things before they happen. And that's always stuck with me as well. So keep these things in mind. And if you can't comprehend some of the things I'm saying, or the possibility that there is anything more going on than tragedy and pain and misery, at least try to open yourself to the possibility, and at least just open your heart, and to lend some kind of support to the possibility of this happening, because that's all it takes. It's not an intellectual thing, it's a heart-based thing. So I think I've rambled enough. And it's, I think, an hour and 22 minutes, so almost an hour and a half. So this is my big introduction to the doors before I start carving for tomorrow. Wish me luck. I hope a whole bunch of you guys are energetically supporting me through this. I really, really welcome it, and in a lot of ways, I need it. We need it, and with a little luck, all of us can transform this whole seemingly whole mess into something absolutely amazing and transformational. So, thank you very much for listening to me. Those who braved it through to the end. And tomorrow I'll be posting more practical, hands-on carving. There'll be a lot of dust, a lot of shavings, and while I'm actually carving, probably a lot of noise. I don't yet even know what these machines, how loud they're going to be, although I'm sure grinding wood and stuff, there'll be a certain amount. So I won't be talking while I'm carving, that's for sure, I don't think. Yeah, I think I have just about ringed this one out. Oh yes, the goddess that the giant building the wall was promised. The goddess was Freya, and it was, I think, Thor and Loki didn't want to give up Freya, so then they tried to deceive the giant from finishing the wall in the 1 year time period. So Loki turned into a female horse, to distract the giant's horse that he used. Of course, it's a giant horse too. It was using to help him build this wall and move the rocks. So this horse broke its harness and ran off after the mare, which was Loki in disguise. And the giant was a day late, or delayed on his finishing of the wall, and therefore couldn't get his wife promised, Freya, and he freaked out, and then Thor came along and smashed his head in with a hammer. So that was kind of not very nice, eh? But I just see all these things. The gods have these human traits, because I think that it's the message or the meaning behind it is that every vulnerability and frailty that are in the gods, specific gods, are exactly the mirror of those which are within us. Because what value if all the gods are just beyond anything, nothing to do with humans? Well, they seem to be very interwoven on various levels, and I think that's how these dimensions are. I think these dimensions overlap and interlay and intersect and affect each other, even though we don't see them. And I think that's an aspect of, at least to me, the value of how these gods have such human traits at times. That's part of the message. Is a part of, you read through these things and you work through them. It's part of what's going to communicate something to you. And it depends on when you read a piece of this or other mythology. It's what's going on with you in the world at that time determines whether something speaks to you or not at that time. So I think in general, anything like this, any divinatory work is going to be way more profound and enhanced at this time. One great example is, Raven.
Yeah.
The eclipse. Can you just quickly...
That's happening tomorrow at 12:12 Pacific Standard Time.
12:12 tomorrow.
So it's also 12:12 portal, so very, very powerful time.
And that's AM, or like afternoon, right?
Yeah, 12:12 p.m.
PM, yeah.
So 3:12 p.m. in Ontario and wherever, just adjust the time.
What is in Ontario?
Because we're not...
No, say the time.
Eastern time.
No, what's the time?
3:12.
Okay, 3:12 here.
In Ontario.
Is the eclipse. And can you explain the difference between this eclipse and any other standard eclipse?
Well,
like what makes it so profound at this time?
There's a lot going on right now, but I suggest people just look online for information.
Yeah, but like in any just general. Okay, so just a very deep significance of this eclipse, because Raven was found it really important, and she was trying to encourage me to get the carving started. And solar flares too.
Energy. There's a lot of powerful energies during eclipses.
Okay, and it's energy being released.
Yes.
Is that kind of the?
Yes, energy
Okay.
available.
So these are events that are releasing certain energy, and there's also some major solar
There
flare.
was solar flare activity that's very big lately.
Okay, and another thing, astrology, and even tarot card readings. You've got to find a really, really good astrologer, and there's many of them now available on YouTube, for example. And some people, like for tarot card reading, Erica Almitz is amazing. And you listen to anything she's talking about right now, and it speaks directly to you, what you're going through, everything. It's like a spotlight's been put on these certain things that kind of may have not meant much to you another time. Now they are profound, and they're highlighted, they're enhanced. If it's a good reader. Molly McCord for astrology, and what's the astrologer that Molly McCord mentioned? Tanya?
Yeah,
Tanya Gabrielle is another one. So anyone interested, Molly McCord, Tanya Gabrielle, and for astrology, and Erica Almitz for the tarot card reading that she does. And she doesn't. She's not doing a personal reading for you. She's doing kind of a cosmic reading, or a reading of the collective, of what everyone is going through and what's happening. And a lot of times they will kind of correlate events happening now and what to be ready for and what not to bother with because it's not a good time for it and all this sort of thing. So anyone that's interested, that is very helpful as well. We definitely listen to a lot of this work. Or a lot of their work during these times, and I find it's like, just like Raven was saying, try to get the carving started at the eclipse. Just you might as well multiply levels of these things going on energetically to enhance your chances, encourage the chances of the energy you put into something working on a more profound level, or avoiding a time where you're just running into the face of the storm, the wind in your face. So hopefully this has been helpful for some people. If not, well, it was helpful for me at least, so it hasn't been a waste. So till tomorrow, where you'll catch me carving away on the doors. Peace. Have a wonderful day. Sending you love. Do your best not to get pulled into things. This is a really, really sacred time to... I get pulled into it as well. I get pulled into arguments easily. I'm doing my best not to. It's very seductive at a time like this when tensions are high and everyone feels like they have an answer or a perspective, and then it gets into a little sword fight thing. But I find doing my best to not get pulled into that, and to work more and more, at least one foot in both worlds, in each world, kind of straddling between. So balance out, balance out the energy work and the protest kind of work. The activities that demand more of your mind and your head, and can easily pull you into conflict. So, having said that, I am going to say goodbye now, and I will see you tomorrow when I'm carving. Bye.